So this is a watch that I've been pretty excited to take a look at, and this is the Ticwatch E3. Now, Mobvoi was doing this whole fitness challenge to where if you complete a certain number of workouts within a certain amount of time, you can get the watch for free. So I decided to go ahead and order one and attempt the challenge. So the E3 is Ticwatch's lower end model, but is also one of only two watches that is running the Wear 4100, which is part of what made me so interested in it, despite the fact that the actual hardware itself, aside from the SoC, is nothing all that special. So, inside the box we just got the watch itself, nice little artistic background on there, and then we have the magnetic charging cable, as well as the little quick start guide, the normal health and safety garbage, and a snack for later. Alright, so the Ticwatch E3 has, like I said, the Wear 4100. It has a nice curved glass display, although the body itself, unlike the Ticwatch Pro 3, is made out of plastic, IP68 safe, and then it has a bunch of different workout modes, sleep tracking, heart rate, blood oxygen, which isn't super common, and it does also have a speaker on it. So popping it out of the little thing, we have the watch itself. So yeah, it's a pretty nice looking watch, I'd say. Just kind of your basic looking thing. Got a round LCD screen, which is quite unfortunate that it's not OLED. But I would say the watch looks pretty nice and the band feels alright, although it is a standard, I believe, 20mm watch strap, so you can just swap it out for anything. Alright, little magnetic test, see how good this charging cable is. Yeah, that's plenty strong. The watch isn't really coming off anytime soon. You can kind of use it as... Alright, so the watch is on, and then I'll just go through the normal setup, and I'll come back to you guys in just a bit. Alright, so I went ahead and I got the watch all set up, and then I also went ahead and did all the updates that it needed. So before we take a look at the software, just kind of my initial impressions on the overall watch itself. The watch band is kind of garbage. It doesn't really look the greatest, and the buckle is plastic just like the rest of the watch, but the actual band itself isn't very soft. It's pretty plasticky and not the most comfortable to wear, so I'll probably end up replacing that either with my Pebbles watch band or get another one, since it uses just standard 20mm watch bands. The screen itself has been pretty nice so far, just in setting it up. It is fairly bright, and I took it outside real fast and it was definitely bright enough to be viewed in the sun. But like I said before, it is not OLED, which means that you don't get any sort of those deep blacks. So when it switches to the always on display, which I have turned on, you can probably see that it's just not, the black levels aren't overall the greatest. But so once you get it set up, it's just your standard Wear OS affair, although Mobvoi has thrown their own launcher on there. So you have your normal watch face, and then you got to your left the Google Assistant page, as well as your tiles, so your fitness stuff and your weather and things like that. And then you press the top right button and that gets you to your app drawer. But Mobvoi has thrown on their own launcher, so you can see that it's just basically very similar to the standard Wear OS one. However, it is double columns instead of a single row. And then if you press the bottom button, you can change that to have it set to open any sort of app you want. I have it set just to open the flashlight for me, since I use it a lot at night going to the bathroom and things like that. But you can bind that to anything. If you hold the top right key, that'll bring up the Google Assistant, and then if you hold the bottom right key, that gives you all sorts of different small sub-menus, like you can drain the speaker, and then you can just power it off, things like that. And then down from the top, you have your standard customization tiles. Now, I was noticing that within the Wear OS app, there's no way to add watch faces or to get new apps on the watch, unlike how it was on my old LG Watch Urbane. Now, I'm not sure if this is just some updates to Wear OS or if this is a Ticwatch specific thing or not, but it is quite annoying that if you want to add a new watch facer app, you either have to load up the Play Store on the watch itself and then download things through that, or you have to go on your phone, go into the Play Store, toggle watch as one of the categories, and then find your apps through there. So it's just a little bit of extra hassle, where before you kind of had a slightly more customized homepage within Wear OS that you could do things. So the body of the watch itself is fairly decent. My main complaint is that it's just kind of bland looking, and if you say the word smartwatch, you'd probably just think of something like this. So it does look just fairly generic, and it is quite thick, and unlike on the Moto 360, it does have a bit of this nice kind of curved or spiral design around the outside, but it doesn't really go into the bottom. So while the bottom is constantly covered, I will say that the bottom of the watch is just kind of ugly. It's covered in your different jargon and stuff and all that. So, and the watch band is picking up quite a bit of dirt just through the couple minutes that I had it on my wrist. Now, when I was setting up Google Pay for the watch, it probably is just a Wear OS in general thing, but you have to verify your card for the watch specifically. It doesn't just transfer over from Google Pay, and I haven't been able to get that verification to work just because of how the bank is talking to Google Pay on the watch. As well, the first couple times that I tried out the blood oxygen sensor, and while I know it's not meant for any sort of medical grade things, it just was very inconsistent and did not want to work. I have also noticed that if you switch over, or switch back specifically to the standard Wear OS launcher, that will get you quite a bit more performance. Apps load a lot faster, and everything just seems a lot smoother when you're not using the Mobvoi launcher, and that really just has to do with the app drawer. That's all it affects. So I would recommend just switching back to the normal launcher. Now, one of the things beyond the plastic build and kind of bland look that is the most disappointing to me, besides the lack of an OLED screen, is the fact that the Ticwatch E3 does not have any sort of rotating crown. I think that for the most part on wearables, having some sort of physical way to navigate it, whether it's buttons like on the Pebble, a rotating crown like on the Apple Watch and some Wear OS watches, or especially like the rotating bezel on the Samsung Galaxy Watch and all those, is really quite nice. And on the original Ticwatches, you used to be able to do, they called it, I think, side tickle, and so you could just kind of swipe along the sides of the watch, and that would allow for you to navigate just kind of by doing that, because that was used as a touch surface. And it really is a shame that they got rid of that, because it was kind of quite a nice way, just, you know, when you didn't want to be touching the screen and stuff, you could view things better. But you can do certain gestures, so you can flick up and down to view your notifications, and you can shake to get to the app drawer and go back and kind of do some things just by shaking your wrist, but that's not terribly useful. But again, the main reason that I was interested in this watch, besides the fact that I could get it for free, was the fact that it has that Wear 4100 processor in it. And that is honestly the only thing that makes the E3 special. Its price point isn't really anything extraordinary, neither is the design or many of the features that it offers. But the fact that it has the 4100 means that it is, and Google just confirmed this a day or two ago, one of only 3 watches, the other 2 being previous Ticwatches, that will get the new Wear OS update. Now, some people are saying that that won't happen until later in 2022, which is a shame since Wear OS 3 is coming out this fall. But regardless, it will be getting that update, so it's not going to be just kind of defunct like a lot of other watches running the 3100 and 2100 are going to be, or even some of the Samsung watches that came out less than a year ago. But yeah, so compared to my old LG Watch Urbane, I will say that the Ticwatch E3 does feel quite a bit faster. Everything's snappy, there's not really any lag. Just in the couple minutes I was playing with it, there was 1 or 2 times where I noticed a slight amount of hitching, but that was right after the setup. So I'm assuming it was just due to that, but everything else has been extremely smooth, and I expect that it will stay smooth even after the new Wear OS update, although Google did say that it might affect performance in some way or another. And yeah, so the default watch faces that are loaded on there are fairly nice and decent, whatever. But yeah. So anyways, that was my kind of first look and unboxing of the Ticwatch E3. Make sure that you get subscribed and leave a like, because I will be doing a full review in a couple weeks or so after I've had some more time with the watch, and I'll most definitely be checking out Wear OS 3.0, whether it's on this watch or one of the new ones that comes out, as soon as I can. Thanks a ton for watching.